Hello, everybody, and welcome into Senior Living Live. My name is Melissa. As always, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. We are going to preview our upcoming webinar called Managing Your Digital Estate. And believe me, this is going to be a webinar you're going to want to watch. Rachel Donnelly will be our guest. She is the founder and CEO of Black Dress Consultants. I sat down with her to get a sneak peek of the webinar and to define what a digital estate is and the steps you can make to ensure it is taken care of now and in the future. I love that we're going to discuss this topic. You and I had discussed this the last time we spoke, and I was just shocked by how much information we all have and the footprint that we leave behind, and how you have this wonderful idea of this business that can help people manage all of that. We're going to talk all about that, but first, tell everybody a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah. So I grew up in a small town on the south side of Atlanta in Hampton, Georgia. My father was the only physician in town, so I grew up with attending or going with him on house visits to meet with patients and going on rounds with him at the hospital. And so just grew up with a very sort of keen awareness of being around sickness and how short our lives can be. And then went to a women's college in Atlanta and live not too far from where I went to college, Agnes Scott College in Decatur, Georgia, and now have 2 kids and I'm married. And prior to starting my own business, I was in higher education fundraising for the majority of my career. So I'm used to working with individuals on complex philanthropic gifts back to their alma maters. So I have just very diverse background, but had this deep desire to want to start my own company. After losing both my parents at young ages and having to take care of an aging uncle who lived in a different state, and after he passed away, having to manage all of those logistics, I really saw that there was a gap in terms of logistical project management support for individuals, families, widows, widowers, adult children, managing these logistics. There are averages that say it takes between 420 to 570 hours for an executor to administer an estate or settle an estate. That is a lot of time out of your life, out of your job, away from your kids. So I really wanted to create a project management support business to help families manage those logistics. I like to say I help families either get better prepared or help manage the logistics of the business of death.
Yeah. So the digital estate, what exactly does that entail? And why is it important?
So in helping individuals and families get better prepared, one of the cornerstone of that is helping them to find where all of their documents are and create sort of a central repository. But then the biggest part, what I call the biggest blind spot, is your digital asset or your digital estate. Many people don't realize how huge their online footprint, their digital presence is. Even amongst the baby boomers who spend 27 hours per week online. So your digital estate is all of your online accounts, your banking statements, or your financial accounts. If you do shopping online, it's not just your social media, it's also your photos, your videos, your chats with your physician online. Anything that sort of touches a keyboard makes up this huge presence of your digital estate. And it has real life consequences if it's not organized or prepared for in terms of administering an estate and then closing out someone's affairs after they've passed away.
Yeah, so the tendrils or the arms, if you will, are sort of wide ranging on this. So what do you think is maybe the most commonly overlooked aspect of a digital estate, and why?
Right. Well, many people just think that they can have that calendar book of their passwords and just leave it in their purse, and then their family will be able to do that. But if you don't have any pre-planning mechanisms, you can be subject to the terms of service of that online account that you have with that custodian, which may not give your family, your heirs, your beneficiaries, the ability to access those digital assets. So planning for them, using online beneficiary tools that are out there, and then also including them as part of your estate planning is crucial to make sure that your online presence is carried out in the way that's important to you, that your family knows what's out there. I can't tell you the number of times I come across a family who finds or didn't know about a life insurance policy because it wasn't included in, maybe an inventory of assets. So it's not as though we could just sit at home and wait for the mail to come when administering an estate. Our lives are, like I said, online in a cloud. Many people receive those electronic statements, those digital statements. So if they're locked out of email or their phone, it has real life consequences.
Yeah, and if you just start to think about the little things that we all have, you look at all these streaming services, Hulu, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, there's all of these different services that Netflix that go right to your email. And if nobody has access to that email, they're just going to keep charging the accounts, right?
100%.
So it's a matter of what's there, but then what you don't want taken away because the service is no longer being used, but nobody shut it off. So I just think that I think this is fantastic. Obviously, all of this can be overwhelming, right?
Yes.
For those who
100%.
are left behind. So how do you help, Rachel?
Yeah. So how I help beforehand is just helping people to create sort of an inventory and do an audit of where is everything? How do you pay your bills? Do you use a PayPal? Do you shop on Etsy? Sort of looking at all of those tendrils and that sort of domino effect. And let's sort of create a centralized, like I said, inventory of where everything is. Utilize online planning tools, and then giving them sort of the tools in their toolbox to speak with their attorney about how to include their digital estate in either their estate planning documents, which they haven't yet done, or those that are already there. Can there be changes that are made, not only for your estate planning documents, such as your will, but your power of attorney and other things that could help in the chance you were incapacitated. So doing that audit inventory, helping you to get better organized now and then in the future.
Gotcha. So our guests will have the opportunity during your webinar to ask you questions. It's the beauty of them. What are the top 2 questions that most of your clients want answers to, and how do you respond?
Yeah, I've been shocked. One of the most repeated questions I get is a password manager safe? And which one should I use? And I'm very agnostic in which one you use, but I do think it can really help in doing that inventory now and really understanding the bandwidth of your digital estate. So talking about a couple of those options and how to maximize success in using a password manager. And then sort of going back to what I just alluded to about how do they speak to an attorney? What questions should they ask about their existing estate planning documents or plans? So what should they be doing in order to better prepare and better safeguard their digital assets?
Okay, very good. And obviously more questions to come that will be thrown your way during the webinar live. If someone who's watching this though, Rachel, and they don't want to wait for the webinar, which is February 22nd, how can they reach you? What way can they get in touch with you?
Go to blackdressconsultants.com. There's a contact us page. You can fill out a form to have a complimentary discovery call with me, and we can talk through your needs, your goals, your unique circumstances to come up with a way to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks.
Perfect. Very simple. And your webinar called Managing Your Digital Estate is February 22nd at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. For those of you watching, make sure you head on over to our website, www.seniorlivinglive.com, to register. Rachel, we look forward to seeing you then.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Look forward to it.